I feel like we have people like Issa Rae, Lena Waithe, trying to create content for us, but they can't do it by themselves. I feel like Hollywood wants to say they're inclusive, but they kind of have their playbook on the ways that they wish to do it. They don't want to kind of like go outside the rubric that they have for themselves. Because I can only speak to being a Black woman in this business. And the plight that we have is being cast into stereotypical roles, such as the best friend, the sassy assistant, the maid, But the only way that I combat those things when they come my way is I say I'm not doing it. Because it's just like I don't want to continue a narrative that isn't progressive for the ones that come after me or for my people. I don't want to play roles that are shallow, that don't have any roots. Like I don't want to be your overweight best friend because I'm so much more than that. I've spent $200,000 worth of training.
To be more than that, right.
Yeah. And I feel like because it's a very male-dominated industry, it's going to take a while for people of color, people of the LGBT community to be represented in the ways that we feel that we need to be represented. And I think it's like taking the Jay-Z approach. You got to get in there. You got to get in there. And it's not like you can't be on the ground and complain about it. You got to get in there. So people like Issa Rae, even Tyler Perry creating a lot for people to work. You're creating avenues for people to get more work. I feel like Terrell Alvin McCraney does a great job of that, representing people in the LGBTQI plus community, because we don't have that. And he started that within his plays, before people knew him as Moonlight or David Makes Man. I think it has to be wherever we see ourselves. Me as a Black woman is making sure that I'm moving progressive in every role that I take, in every project that I sign on to, because there's somebody behind me coming after me. And I don't want them to be stepping into the same shit, if that makes any sense.
I'd love to talk a little about your character, Betty Coachman. I understand, in addition to the Judy Harmon character, which is played by Dominique Thorne, were composites of real women who were members of the Black Panther Party, and that women comprise over 60% of membership at the time. I understand Bobby Seale conducted a survey and found that in 1969, most of the members were female, which we see in the film. So I wonder, Amber, if you could talk a little bit about that dynamic, because I do feel like, and several of the Panthers historically have commented on this, that women basically, I know Malika Adams, who's a former Panther, said women ran the BPP pretty much, that, sort of through patriarchy and through the way history is written, that a lot of those folks have been forgotten. A lot of those women maybe have been forgotten, not seen, but we see a lot of them in this film. So just talk a little bit about, if you would, in terms of the importance of that and how you approach this role.
For me, the research that I did on the women of the party was the most inspiring, because these were women that were like me. I'm a very outspoken person. So to see people like Angela Davis and Catherine Cleaver be so outspoken and so educated and ran shit and changed the course of history the way they did, it inspired me to be grounded within myself and be okay with my voice. And because I tend to be like, am I living too much? Am I doing too much? Maybe I need to tone it down a bit, not a bit, a bit.
Either one.
But seeing how strong these women were and how educated they were and how they were such a part of changing the course of history, we don't really get to see that a lot. We don't get to see, especially during this time period where women are doing multiple things, where there are multitaskers. You usually see women being wives and mothers. But that's because that's the way history has represented us. You don't get
Right.
to see the fact that not only am I taking care of this house, but I'm out here fighting for these rights too,
Right.
which I thought was amazing. It gave me a sense of foundation within myself. It made me realize that I can do it all. I could do whatever I put my mind to, like my mother always told me. But to see women be so strong in intellect and be so strong in the world and fight against things that were working against them while raising kids in this and while trying to keep their household intact was the most inspiring thing to me.